Here's a bit of summer school for you. Jesus of Nazareth. What's his name? That's his name in Greek. Jesus. We have the name Joshua, which in Hebrew is Yehoshua. In Aramaic, it happens to be Yeshua. And in Greek, there it is, Jesus. Now I'll explain to you how we get that. The non-Hispanic Black American Brother Sanchez TV tried to say that Jesus has a derivative of Zeus in it. No, look up the meaning of the word Joshua. Or Yeshua, or Yehoshua. That sound at the end. So let's turn it into Latin. Latin, the ya, ia. Well, they didn't have a ua sound, so like Elijah becomes Elias. When we say Elijah, they would say Elijah becomes Elias. Jeremiah becomes Jeremias. Isaiah becomes Isaias. You can see this spelled out in the King James, where they translate from the Hebrew and then from the Greek, and they're translating what it is, not what it, they're not trying to make parallels. Joshua, the Old Testament, is actually called Jesus. So, Iye, so we see an A or an O in there, and then Jesus. And then in Latin, or not Latin, around 500 years ago in Spain, this letter was introduced. Because there's no J's, K's, Y's, or W in Greek or Latin. You get Jesus, 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 and Jesu. Whereas the Italians, I believe, Gesù, just chop the end of it. I don't think they have a J though. I think they have a G. But yeah, no conspiracy. Goes from Yehoshua, Joshua is Yehoshua, to the Aramaic Yeshua, or Yeshua, depends on the dialect, to Jesus, to Jesus. Get it? So I'd figure I'd make this chart for people so they understand. The church fathers, patristics. Okay, we have ICX up here, Jesus Christos. Down from here we have the Apostle Peter, the Apostle John, the Apostle Paul. Clement of Rome knew Peter and Paul. John's disciples were Papias, Polycarp, and Ignatius, but Ignatius also knew Peter and Paul. Now, John's student, Polycarp, his student was Irenaeus of Lyon. You know what? We have all of their writings. We have fragments of Papias, though. Some people call him Papias. And then down here, I made a shorter one. Clement of Alexandria, Origen, pretty famous guy, and Alexander of Jerusalem. I made the chart a little bit easier up here where you can see it, where you see the uniting factor is Ignatius. Oh, I forgot to put John here. Although that is technically correct because Ignatius, the tradition says that he was the child that Christ held in his arms and said, "Permit the children to come to me." So he has John, Christ, Peter, and Paul. But Clement of Rome people said he still had the voices of the apostles ringing in his ears. Ignatius, Polycarp, Papias. Polycarp and Ignatius knew each other. They were like BFFs. They wrote to each other. And then Polycarp educated Irenaeus. Mary. There's a lot of Marys in the New Testament. What was Mary, the mother of Jesus or Christ? What was her name? Her name was Maria, a Latin name, a Latinization of a Hebrew name. Mary Magdala, or Magdalene, what was her name? Probably Mariamne, but Mariamne could also have been the sister of James or a disciple of James. Again, common name. Just like Matthew. Matthew and all its variants, like 25% of the Jews in the first century were named Matthew or something. Matu, Matat, Matthias, Matatau, you know. All right, so you had three real quick in-depth pieces of knowledge that you can use to amaze people from now on. Peace to you.